What's up, guys? Silver Stasher back with another video. Today I want to go over how to stack silver when it's nearing an all-time high. It's a little bit of an intimidating time to be buying silver, so I just want to go through what I'm doing and the mistakes that you can avoid and kind of just the general idea of how I'm going to be stacking silver moving forward until this either breaks or continues to rise. So let's go ahead and get started. My strategy has changed significantly. I think that it's a better strategy for the time that we're in right now. I just want to go over what I'm doing and how you guys can avoid the FOMO, but also the possibility of a correction in the silver market. So let's go ahead and get into it starting now. All right, so first things first, and this is a completely personal choice. I'm investing about 50% of what I normally was investing into silver now. So I'm going to let it sit for a couple months, probably about a month or two, and just see if the market corrects itself at all. And if it continues to stay at this trend, the upward trend, then I'll probably start bumping up back to the 100%. But as of right now, because it's so new that we're sitting right by the all-time high, I'm going to just invest about 50% of what I was investing before into silver. Now, the reason behind that is simply because I want to avoid the possibility of silver correcting itself and going back down to $40 an ounce or so. It'd be a long period of time before I'd be able to sell that to make a profit. So anyways, I don't want to buy a ton of silver when it's at the all-time high. So I just want to play it a little bit more frugally, if you can call it that. So number two that I want to mention is I'm going to avoid FOMO investing. So one thing I have learned from personal investment choices is that people get FOMO, and once people have FOMO, a lot of people start buying into something until it goes up and up, and then eventually it does crash. Now, I'll tell you guys a little personal story about my worst investment mistake I have ever made that cost me $70,000 or close to it. I don't know if you guys remember NFTs, but I purchased an NFT that was very speculative, and I bought it for I think $4,000 or $5,000, something in that range. So I spent a lot of my own savings on it because I was thinking that I was following the FOMO and I didn't want to miss out on this incredible opportunity. And anyways, I bought it at $4,000, and it was, luckily at the time, it was right before the spike of all of the speculation and the interest in the NFT market, which, if you don't know what an NFT is, I'll pop it up on the screen right here. I bought it about $4,000 to $6,000, somewhere in that range. And I rode this wave out because I was kind of an early bird, and people were starting to buy into it because people were getting FOMO that they were missing out. And I kept on getting offers for $5,000, then $6,000, then $10,000, then $15,000, and it went all the way up to $25,000, then $30,000, all the way up until I got offers for $65,000. And in my mind, I had the fear of missing out, and I didn't want to sell it because I was a little bit greedy, and I was like, well, it could go to 100,000 or it could go to 150,000 because it was just so extraordinarily out in the ordinary, and it was kind of a huge surprise to me that I was getting offers for that much money. So I didn't want to miss out if it went higher, so I never sold it. But the problem with that, and those people that were offering me $65,000, that was pretty much because they were probably feeling the FOMO of the wave that was continuously increasing significantly over that time period. So they gave me an offer at 65,000. Now, personally, I obviously wish I would have taken it, but if they would have bought that for $65,000, which plenty of the NFTs that were the same ones as mine were bought for that amount of money. Well, unfortunately, after that wave kind of died off, the NFT market in general went down and down and started declining, and the offers overnight went from $65,000 back to $7,000, which I think they're sitting around 6 or 7 right now. So I could sell it and still make a grand, but avoid the FOMO and the idea of, oh, I'm missing out because silver is going to keep climbing and keep climbing. I'm not saying you should stop buying silver at all, but don't believe the hype. It could totally come down tomorrow. All I'm saying is just avoid the FOMO investing. All right, number 3 on the list for how to start stacking silver when it's near an all-time high. And this is probably the most important piece of this video that I want to mention. And it's just simply, I'm going to be buying more junk silver. Now, the reason isn't because I think junk silver is going to perform better than regular ounces like this, but the reason I'm buying more junk silver is because when I buy junk silver, I still get a significant portion for my money, and I don't feel this high price as much as if I were to buy an ounce of silver. Because when I started buying them, I bought them for $32 an ounce, so I could spend $100 and get 3 ounces of silver, whereas now I could only get two, which is a little bit of a bummer. And I would definitely feel that pretty significantly if I were just going to buy straight ounces. So instead, I am switching to just junk silver. I'm going to focus on that for a little while because I still feel like I'm growing my stack. I think it gives you the psychological benefit that you're still getting more for your money versus if you were just to buy 1 ounce rounds. So again, I'm focusing on junk silver for now. That might change in a couple months, but for now, junk silver it is. The fourth reason, I'm going to pull up something on the screen here, is I'm going to recommend that we dollar cost average. So I know I said I'm investing 50% of what I normally was, but for the most part, I do believe in dollar cost averaging, which is simply pretty much just spending the exact same amount of money period after period after period to where it all averages itself out. And I'll read you guys what the definition of dollar cost averaging. So dollar cost averaging is a strategy that can make it easier to deal with uncertain markets by making purchases automatic and consistent. So let's see, the key takeaways in this article from Investopedia is dollar cost averaging can reduce the overall impact of price volatility and lower the average cost per share, or in this case, per ounce. By buying regularly in up and down markets, investors buy more shares or more ounces at lower prices and fewer ounces at higher prices, which is where we'd be right now. So dollar cost averaging aims to prevent a poorly timed lump sum investment at a potentially higher price. So again, if you're sitting on a stack of money waiting for the right time, now, even though there's an upward trend, in my opinion, I don't think it's the right time. I think you'd be possibly screwing yourself over if there is a correction in the market. So now novice and experienced investors can both benefit from dollar cost averaging. So last but not least, I do believe in that. And I think that that is all time tried and true investment strategy. Dollar cost averaging is what I'm going to continue with if I see this market staying steady over the next 2 months. So last but not least, and this is the best and most important thing to think of when you're buying silver, is that when you buy silver, you're buying ounces. Think about it in the sense of I'm going to be buying silver to increase the amount of ounces that I have rather than thinking about it in the sense of spending money. And so I don't want to look at it in the sense of, oh, I'm going to spend $100 and I only get 2 ounces rather than three. So I should hold off and wait until I can get 3 ounces again. I don't think that's a good strategy to look at it that way. So rather, I try to look at it as if I go to the store, I can buy another ounce or another 2 ounces. And that will increase my stack because right now I think I have 107 ounces total. Well, now I'll have 109 ounces. So I look at it as if I'm just trying to increase the amount of total ounces that I have. And it doesn't matter the dollar that it costs to get there. I just want to build the ounces day after day, month after month, year after year. So that's the last point that I wanted to come across for this video. Anyways, let me know what you guys are doing in this market. It's a little bit of an interesting time, and I'm glad that I'm riding the wave for this because it's quite honestly, it's pretty fun. And if you don't have a lot of money to invest in silver, don't get all down because it's at an all-time high. What I would recommend is just start buying junk silver, or maybe buy 1 ounce a month or 1 ounce every 2 weeks, whatever your budget can handle. Use cash. Obviously, don't use credit. You can go use cash, and you're saving money. You're buying silver, which is an investment, and I think it's very wise to continuously buy silver, even if it is at this high, expensive price. So if you don't have a lot of money, start with dimes. You could go buy a dime for $3.40 or whatever it is right now. So buying 10 of those would be $34. And you can just slowly increase your stack by buying small amounts of things like that. So don't get discouraged because this market is at almost an all-time high, but also don't stop buying silver, in my opinion. I think silver is a great and fun way to learn about investing and saving money. And I recommend doing it whether it's at an all-time high, an all-time low. It doesn't matter to me because, like I said, I just want to increase the ounces that I have. I want to go from 100 ounces to eventually 1,000. And hopefully one day, maybe I'll be walking around with 5,000 ounces. Who knows? If you continuously do this time after time, it does actually, it adds up a lot more than you would think. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Silver Stasher, out.